All right, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to ACC Round 8. Today we visit the track Bathurst, and join in comms with me in Moto is Koushik Tumala. What's up, Koushik?
It's been a bit while. It's my first commentary actually, so I'm really excited to see what's gonna happen in this race. Yeah, it's gonna
Yeah,
be. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be a very good race based on the track we are going to visit right now.
absolutely.
Um,
And we are coming from a week's hiatus, if you will. So we have got the stream back up. Apologies for the delay, but it's back up. And Bathurst, very dangerous circuit, if you will. The hill section, the drop down. So it's all shaping up to be an exciting race. And I think we can move on to qualifying now.
Yep, let's move on to qualifying. Just give me a moment. I'll just fix the audio.
Yeah, sure.
Yep. Here we go.
So we are in qualifying, just a minute and a bit left to go, and we can see the drivers. It's set in the dark as well, so it's such a challenge it's going to be to for the drivers to keep an eye out for the corners and the apexes, especially in this in the lack of light here. But we can see from the times that Davlish Singh is on top with a 2 minute 1.9, and behind is Myth and Masoom. So, Kaushik, what are your predictions for the qualifying? Do you think any last minute changes are going to happen, or is it going to
uh,
be this way?
I think one of the most biggest talking point would be the setup. I've heard about a certain setup changes that are being done with the rear door. Some people are using it to good effect and some are not. So I'm really interested to see what effect it has on some people. I would expect Marshall to do even further because he's generally the one who practices a lot and has a lot of pace in hand. So yeah, let's see what his final lap will bring us in terms of final classification.
Yeah, absolutely. And we see Starboy approaching the chase section, if I'm not wrong. One of the few full throttle sections on this track with so many corners and bends and undulations on the track, but that section is a very high speed and could watch out for some close wheel-to-wheel action through that section. Approaching the final line, was that a 2 minute 59, or maybe that was a cool down lap. So I think he's starting his lap now, but about Masoom, yeah, he's very quick. He practices a lot, and it's surely he's going to go up the ranking. But it seems qualifying has just gotten over, and the drivers are just winding up their last 8 laps, I guess. And yeah, it seems it's shaping up to be an exciting race.
Yep. Also, I have to remind you that Amit is coming back of an excellent event he has done with Logitech G Challenge, where he finished P5 as well, and he's been exceptional in this game as well. I think he did not improve there. Yeah, he's done with his quali, so he did not improve there. But it is a bit surprising seeing Master a bit slower than I expected him to be. But it doesn't matter anyway. This track, you can make a lot of mistakes. So quali isn't everything. It's not like Monaco where track position is everything. But you can overtake if you're playing nice. So yep, let's see what's gonna happen in the race. Very excited.
Yeah, absolutely. And may not have the qualifying pace, but if you have the racecraft and the racing brain to keep it out of the barriers and watching out for incidents, you can gain so many positions in a track like this. So you can definitely see some people who they take it very safe and lap on OP and people crash, gaining a lot of positions in the start. If I'm not wrong, but yeah, it's got me excited. This track and this car combination makes it for a winning race.
I remember this track being one of my nightmares of this game and just in general. But you need to have a certain kind of driving style and certain kind of braveness to properly utilize this track for your benefit. Um, it's just that a lot of newcomers are here in terms of this track, I think. A lot of guys have been practicing, which is unusual. We see a lot of guys just jumping in just before the race and doing some quali laps and then just doing the race. But when you practice a lot, especially in tracks like these, that will definitely help you out in terms of racecraft, where you can just understand how to race with people in certain corners, not just crash out in first lap or anything like that. As you can see, I
Yeah,
think
absolutely.
qualifying's done.
Yeah, qualifying is done and dusted with, and your top five for the race are Davli Singh in P1 with a 2 minutes 1.9. Myth in P2, Masoom in P3, that's your top three, and then Deepak Rush, Tanish, Starboy, Kuberabi, Worship Panda, Helium, and 8 Cylinder makes up the top 10. And then out of the top 10, we have no more pro player. Tag is one, Kake, Kapiles, Raja, KCC, Piyush Gandhi, Aladdin, Slaya, and Faizan rounding up the grid.
Yeah, it's interesting to note that these guys have already gone into the 2 minute ones. I did not expect with this temperature that they would be able to. But yeah, it's looking very close between the top two, especially while Masoom is not too far behind. But people from fourth onwards have, I mean, the drivers are really far behind. If you see real pace, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting battle for the top three or for the podium. But moving behind, for the drivers behind, it'll definitely be a battle for survival.
Yeah,
Yep, the
absolutely.
usual
And
the
yep, go
usual
ahead.
contenders for the top positions are there. You would expect like Amit and Davlesh Marcin. They're the guys who are like properly practiced to every race and like they do a lot of events as well. So it's pretty usual to see these guys at the top. Uh,
Yeah, absolutely. And getting back on your point, it's a good point that you made that uh, out of all tracks, I think on ACC, this is one which you can't like come in without practice and race. You need to do a few laps to get into that rhythm. It's like Monaco, where you're playing with the barriers and trying to push the car to the limits and yourself as well. And you cannot do that without any practice. Otherwise, you will end up in the wall. So yeah, it seems as SD had mentioned before, the top three have put a huge gap over the rest of the field. But it seems we're underway and we have a rolling start, which is normal of GT3 cars. And it seems Davlish in the Lambo and Amit in the Merc, if I'm not wrong, are
McLaren.
already going
McLaren.
toe to
McLaren.
toe. And it seems they're across the line, and I think they're away, or is it a formation lap?
No, it's
It's
going to
gonna start
right now.
Yeah. Okay.
the
So
green
heading
and we're going.
into the hell corner, it seems Taflish and Myth are going toe to toe, and Taflish has kept that position, good defending from the driver in P1 there. But Myth already sensing an opportunity to get the lead into turn one itself. And now further down the line, we see it's a relatively clean getaway for all the other drivers, and now they're approaching the uphill section where you need to be able to follow very closely, and any small braking errors can leave you behind by quite a margin. But it seems a clean getaway for our drivers here.
Yeah, we see McLaren. I think that's Danish that went a bit wide and Starboy made a good position on him, if I'm not wrong. So he's struggling a bit at this initial stages. But the guys in front are just as they were. It was a really good defense from Davlish Singh to keep the position, but it's just the start. It's going to be a 20-minute race. It's going to be a lot of hard corners coming up, and you need to have that racecraft to survive this in which you can maintain those positions. Oh,
I
I didn't see a
see.
crash.
I think that's 8 Cylinder who's around, no?
Yeah, that seems to be
Yeah,
a this on the Bentley.
in the Bentley, yeah, he spun around, I think, near the S's, and that's another driver who's just a bit too close to the barrier for his own liking. And yeah,
Having a
there's
Bhutan chicane over there with the amount of crashes, like they can't get over each other. I think it seems that that's a pretty good amount of damage. He's going very slowly, so the people behind are going to lose a lot of time.
and you can see visibly the top three have already pulled more than a second, that is, of the drivers behind, just in their own class, if you will. But yeah, there's your first victim. The mountain's name is its first victim in 8 cylinder, and hopefully he can. I think there's one more race after the 20-minute one, if I'm not
Yep,
wrong,
yep.
and hopefully he can make his way back up the field and It's all
Do
to
you see
play
someone
for.
going slow? Faizan going really slow. He must have had a big contact or some big damage.
Oh no, he's taking the boards
Off
out.
track.
Oh no.
Oh, that
Oh
yeah,
no,
he's taking the breaking boards out. I'm not sure if that was on
that
purpose
is
or if.
not allowed. I think that's pretty unsportsmanship if you ask me. But yeah, I don't know what he's doing.
I
I
think
am
he
baffled
just
nowadays.
got a bit caught on the grass. But anyways, for the back, you can see Piyush Gandhi's windshield has so many cracks on it, and so many drivers already coming into the pits now, and these guys will be almost far behind to catch up. But yeah, there you go. Point is Bathurst being no easy track to conquer, especially in the dark like this. But on board with Amit now, he's following closely behind the leash, trying to suss out where he's braking early or braking late and trying to get the proper lines through each corner.
Oh, what happened to the
But
camera? Sorry about that.
yeah,
It's
he's
fine.
got a fine.
Amit is one of those guys that do not need a lot of practice, but can still ride beyond the pace. I think he's just hanging back right now from the unleash, seeing what his natural pace is and trying to set in the rhythm. All these guys are very close, all three on top three.
I think
So
Amit got a bit squirrely on the exit there, and yeah, he's lost a bit of time with the leash. But now Masoom is coming up to it, and these three are still very close to each other, so it's all really fun to watch.
looking behind, we have Deepak Raj, I think, in fourth position. You'd expect him because he's also one of those guys that play ACC a bit more than the others. But he does not practice as intensively as the top three, so you'd expect him just where he is. But yeah, there seems to be clear packs forming everywhere. The top three, and then there's Deepak Raj, and then there's Kubarabi with William as well behind him. So we have some packs forming with two cars, three cars everywhere. I think the second race is gone. They're going with these 2 to 3 cars for the entire race, and they'll have to battle for these positions itself.
That's helium absolutely mounting the curbs in the inside, which I don't think one should do because it's really unsettled the car there. But now Teg is gone. Teg is one is sensing an opportunity to chuck it up the inside, but we have to wait and see what happens for that. But a surprising driver who's a bit further down the spectrum is Panda because from what I've heard is he's a man who plays a lot of ACC. And is very quick as well, but he's found himself in P8. So
He must have had an incident or just tried to be safe on lap one, so he must have lost some positions coming there.
yeah, absolutely. And you can see he's got the pace and he's got the switchback with the car ahead. And I think he's got it done. What a brilliant move by Panda that is.
Exceptional move there from Panda. I think he's trying to find his rhythm and trying to find some pace as well. He's definitely not where he's supposed to be. I think he's definitely going to be up there with Deepak Raj or someone in 4th or 5th. He has a lot of pace, and I have to remind you that we had an update as well after that, and Podium Interviews and all those cars, some cars got nerfed a bit. So we might see some unusual dagger on some cars or something like that in the setups as well. So it will be interesting to see what's going to happen in the next 14 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the reasons which Master is not back in the pole is he was, from what I've heard, he was saying that he was still getting used to the update. Maybe that could play a factor in, as you mentioned, the aero changes and all. Yeah, definitely. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, Panda is certainly on the charge and he's right up Williams' gearbox. Or his diffuser, I would say rather, and approaching the chase section where it's always faster to get a cutback line, and Panda has done exactly that. He's closed the gap even further. He's going to send it down the inside into the front corner. He thinks of it and he's sent it.
Tries it.
And
Oh,
he's
that's a
got
very
moved.
impressive. Very
It's
impressive.
impressive, but it was clean in my books and he got the position.
Yeah, that will be detrimental for the race for him to get the move done and just get past Celia so he can show his full pace and close the gap down to Kubarabi 6th and 5th position.
Yeah, absolutely. And, it seems, if I'm not wrong, Masoom Amit has dropped a position and is quite a ways away from Masoom and Davnish.
Must have made a big mistake somewhere.
Yeah, it's apologies you missed it, but yeah, it seems that Myth has some work to do now. And you know, it's I don't know how right I could be this, but it's kind of nice to have a card because you can copy their lines and see where they're losing time. And now Myth has pushed basically flat out to catch up to them. Making errors as well. So you'll have to wait and see what's going on.
Masoom is about a second of the evolution. I think these two guys will form. I think we'll fight for the race win. Amit might just settle into that race, but we might never know. They might find some pace and we might get back to the fight with these two guys in front.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're getting the leaders are getting some lap traffic in the form of I think Tanish and Starboy and all. Ooh, that's a big clout against the barrier for Faizan and again.
Oh
And
no,
now
that's
he's
a big
ended
for
up
Faizan.
bringing testing.
That is a very unusual and it's quite an unusual event that might need some investigation.
He has got major suspension. Sorry,
Yeah, you
Moto.
can see from his
definitely.
steering that he cannot straighten it out, and the car is just refusing to turn. That is just one thing you do not want.
He
in
need to
this
get
track.
back to the pit somehow. Yeah, I think he's just parked
Yeah.
there now.
Back to the pits, but yeah, it seems you were right. All the people who were not very clean to the start have lost a lot of positions, and some huge on the top 10, not top 16. It seems that Bathurst is just taking one driver after the other in different
Yeah,
parts.
just picking off all the guys who just didn't do in a practice or not attentive enough. It's just gonna bite back really hard. Kapir is on charge behind 8 cylinder, so this might be something interesting to look forward. He's always a guy who's very interesting to look at. No matter which platform you see him in, he's always fighting. He's always having battles. Yeah, we can see. Oh, he's had a touch with.
Currently having a battle with the barrier there is Kapil, but yeah, you're right. Kapil is one who doesn't take qualifying very seriously, but in one race he's absolutely wonderful. He's got the race pace, and evidently he's like trying to follow an 8-cylinder into overtaking him. But yeah, you're right. Kapil is one to look out for from every race.
So 8-cylinder might have a damage because we've seen touching barriers I think before 5 minutes back ago. So he might have some damage, so that might help him accelerate but into this position. Another thing to note is the nerf for the BMW that has taken place because of the blockade. And you can see Slayer in much less position because he started with that he's been a very good, he's been a very big prodigy in ACC. But in recent races, he's had some tough luck and some questionable incidents with certain people. So, and then this BMW update came at the wrong time, I would say, for him, and now he's not at the pace you'd expect to fight at the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems Worship, the Panda is in the pits for some reason. I think he might have sustained some damage, and he's still in the pits. So he's further dropping down the positions. Panda, who's in the charge in the Porsche, has just entered the pits, and he's just waiting
Yeah,
there.
that's very, very unfortunate for his charge. It's not going to be easy for him. I don't think he's going to get into any top positions with that event.
Yeah, absolutely. And now we can see Kuber Ravi is following Deepak Raj. Kuber Ravi was quite a ways down in the technical qualifying this time, also found his way up the field, and he's sitting right behind Deepak Raj. And from what it seems, he does have the pace on him because he's catching him slowly.
Yep, definitely. You can see visibly, like I think he's gaining 10th or 2 every single corner, so definitely catching up to Deepak Raj. I think it's all down to Deepak Raj now to maintain that cool head and not make mistakes, to give it a chance to Kuber Ravi. If he can do that, I think they're both similarly paced. So it'll be hard for Kuber Ravi with the with the less amount of track we have on this track. It's going to be very hard for him to overtake, but Deepak Raj seems to made a few mistakes and he's slowed down quite quickly.
And he's not pushing through that downhill section, which does require a lot of skill and like under pressure. I can understand as to why he's not pushing 100%. But it seems Kuber Ravi has found a lot of pace in Deepak Raj, and he's just 3 tenths behind. They're approaching the chase section. He's sitting behind in the slipstream, which is not quite as powerful in these cars, but still, it's every 10 that counts, and he's just a tenth behind. Now, will he go for the switchback?
He might say move, maybe not.
Oh.
I think it's too far back. It's a very fast corner. People tend to underestimate corner. It's a very fast corner. You need to be very brave and very confident while you brake to make it move. This one is a bit more lenient in terms of overtaking. That's why we saw Panda make an excellent aggressive move before.
Yeah, absolutely. Kuberabi has shown a lot of pace recently on ACC, which is a game he's new to, if I'm not wrong, and he's consistently very quick. So good on him there. He's quite rapid from what I can see. And Deepak Raj is taking it slow, like carefully now. Maybe he's trying to save some of that pace for the next race. You never know, but yeah, it seems those two will be fighting on for a while.
Yep. I think it's just going a bit slow not to take any damage on them, because you saw how many taps the wall we had with many drivers.
Oh, and Masoom nearly loses the car there.
That was scary.
Yeah.
But it's very close to damage. He did not let go of damage to straight away. He's back. He's right behind damage now. So I think this is his racecraft showing very well once again. Able to measure the data every single lap right there when he makes a mistake. It's going to be interesting to see what's going to happen. It's just 6 minutes left into the race. Yep. There's some really large distances formed now between a lot of people. So I think the fights are pretty much done in terms of positions. It's just about who is behind whom and them fighting for that position particularly.
Yeah, absolutely. And
Where did Kuberabi
wow.
go?
Yeah, it seems Kuberabi has disappeared,
But
or maybe he's overtaken him.
there was a yellow flag in the downhill section. Just
Oh no, I think.
Yeah, he's in the pits.
Oh no.
Yeah, tough luck for him.
He
He was
might
doing
have
quite
had
good.
some. Yeah, that's a big shame for Kuberabi. He was having a good race there behind Deepak Raj. He was set to overtake him at some point, maybe with the amount of pace he had, but Masters had some big incident and suffered some terminal damage. He's right up to the point.
In case you can see why he was catching Deepak Raj so quickly. He was pushing, and when you push a bit over the limit, incidents like that do tend to happen. So it's all about the balance of acceleration and like how much you push the cars.
Definitely. That's why Deepak Raj is like he's very calm in this stage. He's not made any mistakes. He knows his real estate. He's just trusting his consistency to take hold and pull into that P4.
Absolutely. And it seems, yeah.
Kapil is still behind. He's still behind 8 cylinders, but 8 cylinders seem to have streaked away from Kapil a bit, and now he's right behind Helium. So 8 cylinders found some pace to not worry about Kapil anymore, and now he's trying to negotiate the position with Helium. It's going to be interesting as well. Helium, I'm not seeing much of it in ACC because I've not followed it much, but he's very fast in F1, so I don't know if he's going to be in terms of pace with 8 cylinders. He's one of the guys. Oh, that's a big mistake from this.
Yeah, but double yellow flags at some point of the track, and it seems Faizan again having another spin. Certainly a race
I think
good
he
for
went
him.
back to pits and tried to still continue the race despite what his position is. I'm going to give props to that, but still he's being a bit of chicane to all the front runners. Not really helping the cause in terms of fighting.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems just the gaps have been increasing here, and I'm noticing a pattern whenever there's a battle going on and someone is behind. They either overtake them and then they spin or sustain damage, or they just spin before. So you can see when drivers are getting pushed to their limits to either overtake or defend, they are like crashing out, and it takes a very cool head to like keep it on track even when you're pushing. And the top three have been doing that. Well, Myth, I think he didn't have nothing, but Master which have just been pushing everything.
gonna be interesting to see where Masoom is right now. In terms of position, Amit does not seem to have made much progress in terms of catching Amit and Masoom and Davlish there. But the top two guys seem to be very close once again. Masoom not letting go of Davlish. The gap built up a bit, but it's not too much for him to close down.
It
too much
seems
fun.
through this downhill section where Masoom is getting a lot of times. Well, it's one of the most, I think it is the most technical section of the track. And it really shows that Masoom really knows his track well.
Yeah, he must have got his setup absolutely bang on as well in terms of suspension settings and changing his wheel rates and stuff, getting the stiffness franchise right. So cruise over those curves and still maintain traction. So yeah, it's helping him over the race. But as we can see, the time is very low. So he needs to do something in terms of catching up and putting some pressure on Davlish here if he has to have any chance of victory, because Davlish seems to not have made any mistake throughout the race.
Absolutely. He has kept it and he is being complaining about the driver behind him. He's one of the fastest in the ACC, but it's an interesting battle, and it seems Masoom, what I'm guessing he's doing now is just taking it easy, and then for the next race, maybe we can see an actual fight with both these drivers push to the limits.
We are on the final lap,
This-
so let you know we are on the final lap.
Yep, as you can see, we're in the final lap here, and yeah, Masoom needs to do something here in these corners here to gain some time over Davlish so that he can be right on it on the race leaders, and that'll definitely cause some psychological tension to the race leader. It's always one of the hardest things. It doesn't. People tend to underestimate how hard it is to beat a race and something race leader. It's one of the hardest things you could ever do. You need to have your cool, calm head to maintain that pace without making any mistakes. W seems to be doing it just perfectly right now. So, yep.
Absolutely.
Oh, we see. Where's Amit? That's a missed. Deepak is back in third place. That's interesting.
Amit must have suffered another incident because, yeah, Deepak Raj has taken the podium positions.
He just disconnected.
If you want to see some battles, it should be 6
Yeah, we got coming from that. P6 and P7. He's at Koushik 1 and else. I think.
Couple.
Yeah,
Yeah, we'll have a board. The leaders are going to finish now.
Yeah. We're sticking to the leaders for now to see if anything's going to change in terms of positions. Nothing seems going. Masoom is
Seems very close here. Is he going to send it into the last one?
Yeah, I don't think so far back. Yeah. As we can see, Davlish rounding off the final corner. Oh, Masoom gained some time there, but it's not enough. And Davlish Singh wins the first race in Bathurst here. Masoom finishes in P2. Incredible race from both of these guys. Incredible consistency and no mistakes. We see Deepak Raj coming to the final few corners to finish off the podium, but he's very far behind. We see some battle here with Pages 1 and Kapil as we've been informed before. They're very close, but Kapil seems to be that bit too much far away. Yep. And no PP trophy is not that far away as well. So,
Yep, and it seems Deepak Raj has finished in P3, so the driver who didn't make any mistakes and gained from all the incidents around him has had a very clean and nice race. But yeah, overall, very good stuff. Got lots of battles, lots of incidents, and it seems we have another exciting race in our hands coming up.
yep, definitely. 8 cylinders has done very well as well. We've seen him make some contact with the walls before, but it does not seem to have impacted him much in terms of race. He finished in P5 there. Amazing races from brought of guys, but Panda, Abhi, these guys will be really disappointed because they had so much pace, but they made a few mistakes and had to suffer the damage in terms of losing a lot of positions.
Yeah, absolutely. And seems Leia just has finished in P9, so not a bad race from the BMW driver either. And yeah, I think that's your grid for the next race as well.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Some guys seem to be out of place, maybe. Kubaravi definitely not. India definitely needs to fight back from 12th. Panda is going to have really, really hard job on his hands in terms of fighting back from P15 in the next race. I think it's going to be just like this race next race as well. It's going to be who's going to be making less mistakes, who's going to be most consistent. I think the top three are pretty much clear. It's bad luck for Amit to disconnect while he's doing so good in P3. But let's see if we can connect back again this race and this time actually put some pressure on the top two guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And we saw some good moves in that race, notably Panda switchback in the S's, if I'm not wrong. And
Yeah, it went
most
around the outside as well. That
yeah.
on the top of the hill, that was very, very, very cool move.
Yeah, so certainly, and if Myth does join back, we should keep an eye out on him because he will certainly be charging up back the field.
Yeah, he might have
So
not had any practice. I think that's why he made so many mistakes. But he's always the guy. Like even when the AC championship was going on in terms of like the Formula 3 cars a few months back, he never practiced and he came to every single race and it was just right on pace, which was just amazing. I used to practice a lot for those races, and at first he was on my pace and then he used to like overtake me every single race. So he's just one of those naturals in races who just have a lot of pace on hand, just need a little bit of time to get back into it.
absolutely, and well, it is a track. It is Bathurst after all. So even if you have that innate pace in you, you still have to, I think, practice for tracks such as this.
Yeah,
And it did
definitely. I think
show.
that's why the top two guys showed their hand here. Definitely because of the practice they usually do. They it proved a clear advantage. They do the setup work as well, which is in these games, the sim one of the most realistic sim games. You need to have that knowledge of getting the setup just right for these events, so that you don't wear out your tires too much. You can manage your tire temperatures very well, uh, and just basically have that racecraft and race pace throughout the entirety of the race. Do not make mistakes.
Yeah, absolutely, and. What else I think we should keep an eye out for is also if Helium and Deepak Raj will, because I think they're pretty similar in pace, with Helium being a bit quicker, but Deepak Raj being a bit more consistent. So, or maybe it's the other way around. I'm not sure, but those guys we should keep an eye out as well.
Yeah, as I said before, the Kuberabi and Panda will have a big job on their hands. I think it'll just come down back again to who's going to make the mistakes, and just even if you don't have the pace, or even if you have the pace, just hang back from certain people so that they'll just eventually end up in the wall or something like that, and just gain positions that way. Because fighting on track seems to not be worth it unless you are a Panda and make moves stick every single corner.
You also need the complete trust in the other driver to battle on this track because it's already so narrow and they don't leave
Yeah,
you
yeah.
enough space, and that's it. Both of you are in the barrier.
Yeah, definitely. Like if you see racing we do in F1, for example, I don't think anybody's gonna make around a single corner on this track because an F1 is just about getting ahead and just closing the door or just ensuring your dominance or something like that. But in these cases, in GT racing and especially these sim games, you need to be very uh, there's no rewind button or anything like that. If you make
Yeah,
any damage or if
absolutely.
you make any mistake, it'll bite right back at you, and it's going to be very big bite as
It's
well.
more so that the F1 cars are very agile as well, so you can make some very last minute defensive changes if you want to mid corner. But these GT3 cars are so heavy and quite
Yeah,
equal on pace. If both the drivers are also equal in skill, it's kind of it makes it interesting defending and attacking.
yeah,
So I
definitely. The
think
weight,
that's another thing where GT3 has an up on F1, and also they're not very delicate, so you can take more risks as well.
yeah, the weight changes. You need to be very. That's one of the biggest things. Like even for me or someone getting it new from something like F1 or single seaters in iRacing or something like that, they tend to mistake the cars to be similar, but it's not because you need to understand how the weight transfer happens on these cars. The aero is important, but it's all about how the chassis movement is done. So you need to be careful in braking and especially cornering, where you need to understand how the weight transfer is taking place to gain that pace back. And that's the same for battling as well. If you make a mistake in terms of braking and not adjust your understanding for that, it's going to be the same thing. You're going to end up making a mistake or end up going wide. Especially with ABS and TC, it does not lock up your tires, but still it can increase your braking distances, and that will be very, very bad for you while fighting or trying to get that perfect qualifying lap done.
Yeah, absolutely. And it seems also that another thing to note is in ACC, the cars are not equal, like, at all. Some cars are better in cornering, some cars are better on traction and top speed. So it depends. It depends on track to track, which also, just improves the prospect of racing and provides every single driver on the grid an equal opportunity to excel in different tracks. So that is definitely one up ACC has on F1 and other sim racing titles as well.
Yep. The BOP is always controversial. Like, there's a lot of discussion happened, I think, last night and before that as well, with several sim races from different communities, like using certain, I wouldn't say hacks, but a definite kind of setup changes that are happening in rear toe or something like that. And some people not being happy, some people not caring that much. It's always going to happen. These cars, they're different in their own ways, and setup works differently on different cars. So it's very, very hard, and it takes a lot of time to understand. So you need, that's why once again it brings back to the practice element we've talked before as well. You need to do that practice, and practice does not only get you the pace, it also helps you understand like what setup changes you need to do for a particular track, so that you can be faster or more consistent, or just not crash out in general. Especially for the new guys, you need to like have a more stable platform to work with. They need to do some practice so they can understand how the car's behaving, reduce the stiffness or something like that, and at least be safe in the race, and gain positions that way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think how much time is there for the next race? Is there? We have a break in between, right, for the drivers right now, but
It's more
Yeah, I
than the
think the
break.
server is being set up.
Yeah, more than the break, the server is being currently set up with the order, basically the entrance order. So
alright.
just waiting for it. If we are lucky, we might have some daylight in this, so we'll be able to differentiate between cars while we are following on board.
Oh,
Yeah,
lovely.
that was one of the hard things that happened on stage, because it was night time. We couldn't properly see the cars that much, but it was fine. It was fine. I think this race we might see some daylight. That will be
I
helpful
mean, it was a great spectacle
run-
to see the headlights and basically the lamps doing their
yeah,
work.
Oh, that's for sure. Yeah.
it's a general view you see, especially in 12 hours of autos or something like that. It's a common scene you'd see there. There's a lot of incidents happening at the night time, especially a lot of mistakes being happening. Yeah, excited to see what next race brings.
Yeah, we're just moments away. We're probably a minute or two, and we'll be up and running in the server.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. By the time this server starts, we'll be running our intro sequence so that our commentators boys can actually take a breather. So yeah, we'll be back with you soon.
Perfect.
We'll be back with you soon, everyone.
All right, folks, we are back. Sorry for that little delay. We were just setting up the server again. But yeah, it seems we are back now and the second race is about to commence. So, Koushik, what are your predictions for this race? What do you think we should look out for?
I think Masum's going to be extra spicy. He just missed out a few tens from race victory, so I think he's going to be a bit more aggressive this time around. He might try a lunge into turn one, something like that, or maybe he's just gonna just put pressure on Davlish, unlike he did. I mean, it's the same thing as he did last time, but this time a bit closer and a bit more pressure last time around. That's going to be very, very impactful towards the entire race, and obviously Amit, he's going to be starting, and how Abhi and Panda is going to fight back for this race.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I agree with you there. And it seems we have a practice server running up, but we will be resuming to the race as well soon enough. Also, we have gotten information that this race will be slowly seeping into daytime as well. So keep an eye out for that. Sorry, we can finally maybe differentiate between the different constructors now. But yeah,
Yeah, even the liveries will be a bit more visible. So if anyone's worked on custom liveries or anything like that, they'll be a bit more watchable and fascinating to see.
yeah, absolutely. We do have a lot of different deliveries the drivers have made, but they can probably display them now in the sunlight. But yeah, some drivers just doing a bit of practice before the race starts, and you can see Pro P doing a few laps now.
Yeah, Propi, I think he had some damage in the last race. That's why he was just stuck behind Tejas one and Kapil as well. So, you can see making mistakes. Yeah, so damage, another thing, big thing that's going to be a big factor again this race. Uh, yeah, it's always good to put in some practice, especially to the guys who have never done practice before the race. It's always for me, especially whenever I try to start the race, I've always find any second I could to do some practice. Like any second I'm on the car trying to drive it, it's better for me than just sitting around in the garage, because you can always get in the groove and like get back into the driving pathway, so you can always get ready whenever the session starts.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a good way to warm just before the race. Warm up on a driver will certainly be very, very helpful. And yeah, it seems that we can see people are really putting down the section, which is it's so exciting to watch. It's almost in free fall, if I'm not wrong, where you just put the brakes and then you just let the car just fall through the corners and
Yeah, very minimal throttle application throughout the entire sequence, if I remember correctly. It's just like getting your line right and making sure your car is not over rotating or
oof.
oh, the Cubera be crashing there. Must
Seems
have
he
had
has
some issue.
a disdain for the Pirelli boards there. But yeah, it seems we are back on the grid, and yep, it is daytime. I think it's dawn, if I'm not wrong. Maybe EA dusk it could be, but yeah, more importantly, the light is back up, and we can see the glorious cars in their liveries now. With
Yeah, so the track
yeah,
seems to be fast, so it's not optimum. So we might not see. Uh, I think it was optimum last race, if I remember correctly, but I might be wrong. But this race, I think it's going to be a bit slow in terms of track performance. Temperature is pretty average, I would say. So even the grip allowed, I mean, the grip available to everyone will be lower. So they have to be very careful this race to not overcook into corners and just not trust the grip too much. These conditions.
yeah, absolutely.
Also, one thing to note, they might have made some setup changes from last race because they had some time to calibrate their setup a bit. So maybe that will help a few people around and get some pace back or get some consistency back there. Uh, yeah, that'll be detrimental for this race for them. But we can see both W Singh and Vasant on the front row looking to get away. Still not ready yet. They're it's going to get ready very soon. uh, it's going to be interesting to watch what they're going to do this race.
Probably making some last minute setup changes if as you said, the track is not optimum, and also the different time of day and the track temperature. So These guys are very knowledgeable. They know what changes to make according to what weather scenario, and every single degree of temperature can makes a lot of difference in to the track and to the setup changes you can make with these cars. They offer a huge variety in terms of what you can modify and what you can change on these cars. But yeah, 3 seconds till the lights out, and the drivers do have their headlights on, even though it's not as dark as it was before. But yeah, it seems precautionary measures to me there. And we're underway on the rolling start. And yeah, let's see what happens at the start.
You can see the cars slowly rolling into their starting positions. They will get away under very soon. It's going to be interesting what they're going to do, especially in turn one. Hopefully, everyone makes it around and acts or anything like that. No
Yeah, it
issues.
seems the Vleesh and Masoom already know. Masoom sending on the outside. The Vleesh does cover the outside. And Deepak Raj is probably having a look at Masoom, but Masoom does get a really bad exit, and Davleesh is pulled away quite a bit.
Yeah, must have misjudged the timing of race start as he dropped back a lot of time there from Davlesh. And he's now under pressure from Deepak.
And Deepak might just send it on the inside here, but he chooses to stay back.
Yeah,
And
I think
from the grid, there's a huge incident.
Oh my god, that's a very big incident. A lot of cars involved. There's some cars going already into the cars park there. Oh my god. Almost 4 cars
Four,
got involved
five
here.
cars in that incident, and I did see HCL. I think he was around in the Bentley, but
Yeah.
huge incident, and
I think they went 3 wide going to the braking zone as well.
absolutely, and you can see that Starboy and Propi have gained a lot of positions from that huge incident. So yeah, it seems those guys will be probably in the pits now for their damage repairs, because
It's going to be very hard for them to make up those positions back. A lot of crucial points thrown away as well. But it will definitely help the guys behind them who have managed to stay clean and stay in their positions. And now again, hugely, especially Shivarabi and Worship the Panda seem to have made up 6 positions almost. So they're going to be just need to watch out for them because they have a lot of pace and they're coming back to the field.
yeah, absolutely. And going back to the start there, I think Masoom just tried to go around the outside of the Vleesh, but the Vleesh was having none of that. He squeezed the outside line, so Masoom was compromised on the exit. So yeah, it seems Masoom got a bit on the Vleesh there, because it's cost him quite a lot.
Yep, definitely. It helped Davlesh maintain the position and also just to sneak away a bit. That's always helpful whenever you're playing leader. It's always good to have a few tenths of gap between you and see some guy making a mistake. That's Kapil is making a mistake
Going
there.
very wide in the across the penultimate corner, and approaching Hell's corner. I think Kapil does still stay ahead, but yeah, and now these four
Breaking
have
from
formed
Kapil.
back. Yeah.
You see kind of a DRS change. Koushik right on the heels of Piyush Gandhi and Kapil break a bit too late and maintain the position. Yeah, this will be interesting, very interesting. All the 4 guys are very fast and they're very similar on pace. And there's a couple of guys forming up behind them as well. You can see Tanish in the McLaren forming up behind this 4-car train.
Yeah, so we do have a battle in the hands here with Worship the Panda making some positions on this race. He's already sensing an opportunity to dive in down the inside of Kubra, but he needs to be very careful, because this is the last race he's going to get to make the positions, and he doesn't need to make any mistakes like he did in
I'm
the
very
first race.
worried because of this trend, because we might end up similar to what we saw on lap 1. Whenever you're this close to like 4-5 cars, it's the guy in front. Or as we
And Kapil has made a mistake ahead over there, and now that's caused Kubarabi and Piyush Gandhi to go side by side.
that's a big mistake there. Oh my god.
He's taken position on Kubarabi.
Kubarabi just went right into the wall there.
Panda is also looking up to get a position on the inside of the Ferrari of Kubarabi.
That's a big change for me, to be honest. I was struggling exactly what I was saying. That's what I said. Whenever you're the guy in the front and there's 4-5 cars behind you, if you make a mistake, all of them will gang up, and then it's almost inevitable that they can't avoid the incident, and they're all going to be. There's going to be a big pile up. Oh, that's a side-by-side action between Kubaravi and versus the Panda. Amazing racing. Oh, this
Great
is
racing. There's four cars here just battling out, and then I think that's Danish who got a screwed exit, and Kake is just dented around the outside. So mistakes are very costly, and yeah, it seems he has damage. He is heading for the pits now.
Yep. Danish going right into the pits. I think he hit the wall big time.
But what is most surprising is that Kapil Ace, who went very wide in the downhill section, still stayed ahead.
Yeah, that's
God knows how, but now he is under pressure from Piyush Gandhi, who does have the pace advantage of him, it seems. And he sent it down the inside there.
Oh, it's very close. They're side by side going into the braking zone. Let's see what's going to happen. Yep. Oh, he's going around the outside.
Piyush Gandhi tries to squeeze, and he's got the move done. That's a great move.
It's almost inevitable in this one because there seems to be a way around the outside, but the balls are exposed whenever you get to the exit. And Kapil seems to be struggling.
Is struggling a lot because Worship the Panda is just sliding around the outside or trying to, but Kapil does defend well there, and Panda at the push just has to wait a bit longer for the flights.
It's almost no time before Panda gets past Kapil. Yeah, there seems to be a lack of pace in terms of relatively speaking between Kapil.
You would have been putting out a couple of positions there who was looking so strong in the first race and the second one also. But it's not gone well, and I think Kapil might have some damage here because he's making far too many mistakes with someone like
this battle is very interesting, but we've not seen what.
And it seems Worship the Panda is also trying to control himself there. You think of sending it down the inside, but he had to back out of it very aggressively. And now
Watson is actually leading now. That's very interesting. We didn't see that one. We didn't see when Moto damage.
Seems we got so much action in the midfield. We haven't we missed out what happened to the leaders there, but
sorry about that.
Yeah, it seems that Masoom has gotten past Davlish and also put quite a gap, if I'm not wrong. That's around a second and a bit more.
I think Davlish might have made a big mistake somewhere because, or we might not know. They might have made some.
There's a lot of damage on his bumper, front bumper there. But it seems, it seems he might have sustained some damage.
Yeah, Masoom did exactly what he had to do, I think, compared to last race. He might have put Davlish under some pressure to force him into a mistake or something. Now he's got the position now.
You can see there Masoom's front end looks a lot cleaner than the Lamborghini. But yeah, Masoom has kept a cool head and got to this position, and he's also pulled away quite a bit.
I don't want to jinx anything, but Masoom seems to be very comfortable in that position, and he's happy as that. We might end up seeing him in the same position for the race. But still, it's a very long race. It's still 20 minutes of damage in the race. And these guys are battling.
See, down all over the back of Kapil there. He's like trying to go on the outside and places where one would dare to hit. But yeah, something must have happened to Kapil's car, or maybe it's the nerves, I'm not sure. But Panda is just hot on his collar there.
He seems to lack a lot of pace. Oh, he made a big mistake there. Oh, did they have a contact?
I don't think so. I think Kapil just misjudged his braking point and ran on the left there, and Panda is just sneaking up the inside corner.
Yeah, very good racecraft from Panda. We saw that it's going to be inevitable for him to get past Kapil, and now he's done it. He can now chase Piyush Gandhi, who's around 5 seconds or 4 seconds ahead of Panda. So that's going to be interesting how fast he goes up on Piyush Gandhi, and then Moto there has gained a lot of positions. I think he's very comfortable with P4, so it's already much better than what he did last race. Hopefully he keeps it all cool and no damage this race.
Yeah, absolutely. It's again the cool heads, keeping a cool head and then making up positions of the incidents around them, especially that massive incident at the start. I think Rodra was game for that. But yeah, it's one thing to be part of the incident and one thing to avoid it and gain positions.
It's definitely going to be very very interested to see the replay once the race is done or something like that. What happened? Yeah, let's do it right now. I think
Yeah,
there's a
absolutely. Let's have a look at the replay as to what happened and then first lap there.
yeah, so going into turn two, I think we saw I think the car going pretty wide.
Yeah, there's a
Something like that.
BMW Australia here. There's a point of view and seems they're approaching the second corner.
Oh yeah,
He's
he made a big
he's
mistake
braked
once
on the
again.
grass there, and he's
Yeah, he misjudged that braking point big time, and just went straight into the grass and now
that
completely
that
lost the
will
control.
not be going down well with the Strolls at
Yeah,
all. That is just
definitely.
yeah, that is
Uh,
similar to Stroll in Hungary this year, where he broke on the grass and ruined
yeah,
Charles' race. But
definitely. I think he misjudged his braking point and he tried to avoid it, but there's no tarmac on the outside of the racing line, so he had to go on the grass. Once he went on the grass, there's no coming back from that. Oh, that's excellent attempt to park in an awkward mode. But oh, there seems to be another incident before even that happened. Some who is that? Couple seems to have gone in the back of stages one.
but I think
before
it's because someone had broken early over there in front.
it might be, yeah. I think they're going too wide anyway before that. It's a big mess.
So
It's
the
only
incident
about-
had happened before Slea had broken the grass,
yeah, definitely.
but it seems
Yeah, also I think yeah, they definitely deserve the P4 now. He made some really good calls in terms of placing his car in the right position.
well,
Yep,
the stewards will
that-
certainly have to have a look at this because there's a lot of cars involved in that. But yeah, it seems maybe couple has sustained that damage from that incident right there. If I'm not
must have
wrong.
done.
Yeah, I think yeah, we should go back
think
to
that's it for
the
the replay.
live stream. Yeah, we are back. So yeah, that incident will be looked at this at Bathurst and appropriate penalties will be given. But heading on back to the race, Awesome has pulled a sizable lead over the Koushik, which is absolutely brilliant, like brilliant from Awesome. They're like he's absolutely on pace. It seems that Davlish has no answer.
Yeah, he must have got some damage. I don't expect Davlish to drop back this much. I think he was around just 3 seconds or 4 seconds behind when we last saw this guy. So he must have sustained some damage and just
he's-
losing pace everywhere.
Yeah, he is bleeding a lot of time through all these corners, and Deepak Raj is also not too far behind. In fact, he's gaining quite a bit as well. And if Davlish does have to make a pit stop, that could be a P2 for Deepak Raj.
Yeah, it depends on. Yeah, definitely. So I see Noah Prope here. He gained massively from that lap one incident. Placed his car rightly in the perfect positions to not get any major damage and just gained all those positions. So yeah, he's one of those guys that kept it constant. Unlike the last race where he got some damage, but still he was on the pace, fighting for P6 if I believe correctly. We have Peel Gandhi there and P5, and he's closed up. I think he was 5 seconds behind or 4 seconds behind when he gained a position on Kapil last time around. Now he seems to have closed the gap to Peel Gandhi, but there seems to be a back mark. I think it's one between them. You might see some blue flags here.
Oh, what the heck? I'm sorry about that. I think I was muted on stream, so if the stream could not hear me, I'm pardon me.
Yeah, it was fine.
No issue there. But yeah, you're right. Worship Panda is on the charge. It's got very dangerously. But he will certainly be looking to gain another few positions. I think maybe P5s in the cards and a bit more than that would be push to us. But yeah,
see Kapil once again under pressure from Kubarabi this time around. He's damaged, not taking a big toll on his pace, and just putting him under a lot of pressure from different drivers. Kubarabi himself, I think, made a mistake. went into the wall when there was a 4-car train. But still, Koushik seems to have a lot of pace compared to Kapil. I think it's going to be a similar situation to behind Kapil. Just have to look for where to pass it in this center.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's important that Kuberabi doesn't. I'm pretty sure he has realized that Kapil has sustained a lot of damage, but I'm pretty sure. And what's important is he doesn't get a bit too, overconfident and just send it and get somewhere. It's not worth sending and get some damage himself as well. So he needs to plan this carefully.
Seems to be closing a bit. Actually, coming very soon.
Choosing not to take the slipstream there, interestingly. Maybe just trying to pry on Kapil's mind and some mind games going on there. But you can see he can carry so much more speed through the ball himself.
Maybe just he's just planning for different then taking the trains up so much time, but traction-wise it seems to be very similar.
Yeah, absolutely. Kapil will defend. He's not want to give up easily, that's for sure. So it could be interesting as to who's going to be the winner of this fight.
Looking back, you have Kake behind Kuberabi, and Aladdin is very close to Kake behind as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what they are fighting for. The 3 10s we have between each other, Kake and Supreme Leader. Oh, Aladdin seems to have gained some time there.
Is he going to go to the inside? He chooses to back out. Good reactions there from Aladdin there. But it seems Aladdin has found some pace from Kake here, and he will go up the inside or outside maybe. So we'll have to wait and find out.
He's one of those guys that are really passionate about some racing as well, Aladdin. He needs to find some pace here to get past Kake definitely. Kake is relatively a newcomer, but he practiced a bit as well, if I remember correctly, for this race. So it's going to be interesting to see whose practice and whose race pace can pull them ahead.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're going very slowly. I think they're taking it very slowly around the downhill section compared to the leaders. They take it very cautiously, not get any more damage or any damage at all.
Better safe to sustain the damage though.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
They
that
might- I
Bentley
think
is
these
looking.
guys-
Yep.
These guys got damage from lap 1 I remember seeing that green Bentley involved in that lap 1 again, but I might be right.
And Kake's on defensive there, but Aladdin will be doing the switchback. He doesn't quite get it right. He doesn't get the run proper, but he still gains some time.
It's very surprising from Kake to go so defensive so early.
Yeah, that was very early by Kake. But interestingly, still not dropped back that much. So he's got the pace of Aladdin.
So all these 4 guys seem to have crawled in their own battles at 7th place and 9th place respectively. Both having similar gaps. Kuberabi is still trying to find a way to get past Kapil here. And the back marker in front seems to have pulled away a bit. I think they are fighting, is helping the back marker to clear them off and not be worried about it.
Kuberabi is looking to send it down the inside, or up the inside, I should say. But it seems he backed up the last second there, and Kapil is still somehow miraculous keeping his place.
Are P2, and Vipakas close? India.
No, that's 11 seconds. If I'm not wrong.
Okay.
I'm not sure they are
I think you might have to switch to a master. See, I just want to see his onboard to see how he's taking his lunge as well, because he's definitely to have to say fastest lunge is the lowest.
And the breach is dropping even further back.
Around 13 seconds now behind Marshall.
Yeah, it's 13 seconds, man.
Yeah,
So
30.7, 6, 7, yep.
Yeah, but Deepak Raj does not seem to have enough pace to catch up to Tablish, so Tablish is looking quite comfortable in his position. But he must be disappointed from where he came up from last race, being so consistent with the leading position, but now making a mistake or some involved in some incident mid race to lose that P1 and not get the race victory. Marcel seems to be a bit more comfortable.
It's soon going to be three-way battle for P4 between Propi, Piyush Gandhi and Panda. So yeah, we should have a look at that soon after maybe a minute or so.
Panda seems to be the guy who's making a fight back towards the front, so he might have a pace advantage compared to these guys. But the most important thing is they have the track position. So it all depends on how well Propi and Piyush Gandhi take time, respectively.
Yeah, absolutely. Panda has been smart about this race. He's carefully made a qualifying position. Right at the back of the grid.
He was pretty 15.
Yeah, and he has used his spacecraft to gain those positions. And, yeah, we will definitely be seeing him. We will definitely be seeing him put on a charge for the two revs in front of him.
This seems to be closing up. You can visibly see all three of them together now from this angle. So Propi must be bleeding some time maybe, Piyush Gandhi, and then both of them are closing up to the control. He's still behind Kapil as they're very close once again. Aladdin seems to have gone past Kake, which we have missed. But yeah, he seems to have gone past Kake. Then Kake, we don't know if he has any damage or not, or he might be just slow compared to Aladdin.
Yeah, it seems we missed that.
Raja and this guy seems to have a lot of time between them, so not really a battle going on with everyone. But still there in the race, we have to give props because this track is not easy to be comfortable with. You can get to be frustrated so easily. I've done it so many times when I was practicing for this track. It's very easy to get frustrated, even when you don't count laps or something like that. It's not easy at all. You can easily lose your attention and then just lose interest in the race as well. But it's important that you stay in the race. You never know what's going to happen to the guys who are in front in these positions, these point positions. They might have some big incident, and the guys who stay behind, like Raja or Starboy or Slayer, still might get some positions back and might gain a few points. So yeah, it's important to stay in the race.
Yeah, absolutely. But it seems unlikely that Starboy Slayer will be getting points because they are, I think, second behind Raja, if I'm not wrong.
This is the alternative.
So I think it's going to be just a normal Sunday drive back bit for them now.
Slayer seems to be will be definitely a point of interest while speaking towards the stewards. But yeah, that entire lap on debacle needs to be carefully interpreted, needs to be investigated carefully by the stewards, because there was a big pile up there. It's not a small one as well.
Yeah, it seems that both of us constantly again with one another. It wasn't just one part of the fault in the racing, but there was something going on ahead as well. So yeah, the stewards will be having a look at that, and the reports will be being uploaded to the respective channels. And it seems that P4, 5 and 6, well, P4 and 5 are those, but I think P1 will from that particular.
I think Piyush Gandhi was ahead of Commentator.
Yeah, I think he made a mistake there, so the mountain has made another driver, I guess.
Yeah, definitely.
We saw Kapil going off track, and I'm pretty sure that damage is not happening his cause.
Aladdin will be looking at his gearbox and so if any test between them, let's see what's going to happen. Aladdin might have a big advantage compared to Kapil. Maybe Kapil got even more damage instead of track expulsion. Yep, Piyush Gandhi, a big loser. We thought of seeing a three-way battle for pole position. Now I'm pretty sure it's going to be two-way battle with Panda and over Pro. That's going to be interesting to
Though
see
it
who's going
seems
to win that.
Panda's a bit too far back from Pro player, but no Pro player is closer to Deepak Raj. He's just having a very quiet race and he's certainly has to think right up behind him.
Yeah, this around this 4 seconds, I think, between them. So,
Oh, sorry,
he-
that's apologies. That's the gap to Pro P and Panda, no? Yeah.
yeah, still 4 seconds is not a comfortable gap, to be honest. Especially in this midfield, you can these guys. No offense, but these guys make a bit more mistakes and find runners who did a lot of practice. So 4 seconds will never be comfortable in midfield. Deepak Raj.
Yeah, Panda just gained like second in the top of the hill. So yeah, this is not done for P4 yet, or P3 to be honest.
Yeah, absolutely. Panda is just wrapping it up. I think he's found a lot of pace now.
It's a Deepak Raj as well in the distance, so he's not that far behind compared to what we saw a few laps ago. So Panda has a lot of pace here. Let's see what's
After approaching the chase section, he's taking that sweet slipstream and he's going to pull up alongside him there, and he hands back, goes to the cut back, but doesn't quite get the drive right. So good defending from Kopi.
might have gone for the speech back, but Kobe took the right line there. Even though he went a bit wide, but it's fine, good enough to maintain the position.
The only thing that I think is against Panda right now, other than his pace, is other than the car itself, is just that his top speed is quite low compared to the McLaren. He might be
Porsche
struggling.
definitely-
Yeah.
Porsche
Yeah, but it
definitely
seems
is
he's
low
got a
car.
great exit out of Hell's Corner and he's pulled up alongside already, and they're going side by side through this section. Who's going to come out on top? It seems.
Panda seems to have edged a bit. Yeah, Panda seems to have edged ahead.
Yeah, it seems the top speed was not required because he got a great exit on that first corner, and he's got the move done.
Yep, that's interesting to see what's if Propi can hang back behind Panda and let him carry towards Deepak Raj, because Panda right now seems to have a lot of pace. But the important factor here is we just got just below 4 minutes left, so it's now or never for Panda to put in that pace and not making mistakes and just get right behind Deepak Raj.
I'm guessing there's just 1.5 laps of running back. I think Panda is over 4.9 seconds pace advantage in Raj. But
You have two laps of racing. Yeah, sorry.
2 laps of racing, sorry then. 2 laps of racing, so yeah, then maybe that could cut into it, but Panda needs to set in some stealing lap times, something like that. And he certainly is, he's already closed up second if I'm not wrong. He's 4.9 behind when he overtook Pro player. Now he's 3.5.
Deepak Raj needs to be very careful of his pace. If he has to have any chance of keeping that podium, the Panda could be really spicy. Masum on the other hand, sorry for the delay. Masum on the other hand is exceptionally having an incredible race here, so dominant, around almost 20 seconds ahead of W Singh. So it's one of those, another one of his drives here. If whenever he's fast, whenever he does not make mistakes, he's just there, and he always doesn't make mistakes in this game. He puts in a lot of effort towards practice and especially setup. And since he's been doing a lot of international races as a team, it's something which helped him definitely with his pace consistency. Yeah, he did not look comfortable at all in terms of qualifying, but it's clear right now that he a lot of race pace within his hands. He's just absolutely displaying everything to be so dominant.
Absolutely, he's just ramping up the lap times here, Masum. Just gliding through these corners effortlessly compared to his other drivers who are just trying to stay alive here. But going back to Panda, I think he's dropped back a bit if I'm not wrong. Yeah, he has certainly dropped back quite a bit. And Pro player is now on the charge.
I think we might have missed
they're
an
having a
incident
battle.
here somewhere. I think there might be some contact here or there. So yeah, we'll have a look at the end of the race.
Yeah, it seems Panda must have suffered some. Yeah, he's getting a bit squirrely in the rear there. I think his tires are done, or maybe it's just the Porsche on his car is just refusing to keep up, maybe, and he's pushing a bit too much. But now Pro player has sensed an opportunity to get that pace back.
top 5 is still a very, very good finishing position, but I think they'll leave that position. Played their positions. But Deepak, oh, that's a bit of a tap for Moto there. But Deepak seems to be a lot more comfortable compared to just a lap ago, where he was bleeding a lot of time to Panda. But I think Panda's chance of getting that podium seems to have evaporated a bit. I don't think it's easy for him to get that podium here unless Deepak makes a big mistake, which he did not make, to be honest. Even the last race, even the last race, he kept his head calm. He just kept stuck with his race pace and just let his consistency take to positions very easily.
Absolutely. He may not be as rapid as the drivers behind him or front of him, but he does have that cool head and consistency, which is going to get him P3, surely. But yeah, it seems a bit further back we have Raja sensing a move on Kake. Gets switch back. Kake he goes defensive very early. And Raja is going to just try and send it around the outside. But it seems yeah.
Very ambitious with his move there, Raja. Kake is again going defensive, I think.
Slayer has had an offing there.
Yeah.
I think the race is over now, and Masoom is just making his final through the third sector, approaching the chase section.
Yeah, the race is completed. So it's the last lap and last two corners for Masoom. Our race leader is been so dominant throughout the entire event. He could not get the win last time around, but because Tablish kept it calm last time around. But this time, Fortune was brave, and he definitely was the brave one in this event. He wins in the second race here in Bathurst. Amazing, dominant performance from not so Masoom here. Dablish would surely finish in P2 behind him.
Seems Worship the Panda has made another mistake in dropping further back from pro player. But yeah, Dablish Singh finishes in P2. Could not keep the lead in the second race. Just had, I think, a bit of damage or a bit of an offing and could not keep up with the ever dominant Masoom. In P3 in the Nissan, making his ways, Deepak Raj has had everything thrown at him today, but he's kept a cool head and has been ever so consistent, and he's going to bring it home in fun podium positions.
He's definitely one of the drivers of the day for me today. I did not expect him to perform so well, even though it was clear he lacked just a bit of pace compared to Panda or Kibarabi in a few races. But he proved it that consistency matters, and he finishes P3 here. Panda.
It seems Panda's got the move on pro player.
Yeah, wait. Positions
was he just defending?
I think Masoom left the server.
Yeah,
already.
Masoom has left the server, so the timings are a bit glitched there. But yeah, I think Panda has defended from pro player, so he has kept that position.
Pro player finishing 6, and now Kapil rounds off finishing 7. An eventful race for him. Bit of damage and had to defend from the guys behind. Could not defend Panda, but I think he defended from Kibarabi well. Now Kake and Raja are negotiating fun positions and they finish as they were last time we saw them. Pages 1 finishes behind them. You see who finishes off in top 10. I think it was Starboy. Yeah, Starboy finishes in top 10 again. Kibarabi finishes in P7, Piyush Gandhi in P6, Raja in P10. So Raja rounds off the point positions, if I remember correctly. I don't know what happened to Aladdin. He gained on Kake, but he must have been involved in some sort of incident to drop back.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems Aladdin must have had an offing because Kake's kept that. He's gained a position on someone caught P9, and Aladdin has dropped out of the points. But overall, a very eventful race. And again, the stewards will be having a look at that incident. But apart from that, we've had some great racing in both the races. And again, Bathurst has provided, as it always does.
We'll just have to wait for the top 3 guys to the podium interview, I think.
Yeah.
Also, one of the guys I want to shout out is 8 Cylinders. He's one of the guys who practices a lot and has a lot of pace, but in the second race, was crashed out on lap 1. Such a hard luck for him. He did not finish the race, I think. DNF'd. Yeah, very sad race for him. Slayer, on the other hand, is going to be a talking point once again, just as we saw in Kyalami, if I remember correctly. He needs to tone back his. He needs to understand his racecraft a bit. It seemed to be a mistake, but I might be wrong. I don't want to speak too much on it. I want to let the stewards do their thing. But he seems to have made a mistake in terms of braking, and that cost a lot of people their races. But he needs to evaluate how he's going to perform in the next few races now, based on
Oh,
these
so this is
performances.
just in. Apparently, for that lap one incident, it seems Kapil was the instigator of the entire thing, and Slayer just Constantinaed after that and
Yeah, that might be.
broken the.
Yeah, that might be the case there.
Yeah,
Um,
so we're just
we're just
waiting
waiting
for our
for.
podium drivers here, finishers. So we have podium interviews for each class, uh, and
Sadly, Masum won't be joining us. He's not feeling that well after the race, so we're going to go move to, I think, the listening when he's
all right,
introduced.
absolutely. So Davli Singh, congratulations! You won the first race, but the second race it just didn't seem right. Maybe I think you suffered some damage and dropped back. So what happened there? Like, how was it?
Yeah, I actually pushed too much on the start. The tires weren't there. The pressures were not up, and the tires are pretty cold. I got a sudden snap of oversteer, and I went straight into the wall, and I had like a minute of damage. So yeah, then I was around 2 seconds per lap slower than my normal pace.
Wow, major F there, but you still
Yeah,
managed to keep the second place. So great job on that. And the first race was absolutely brilliant from you, with Masoom behind you, right close by. You defended very well.
yeah. Thanks.
So again, on the second race, I remember seeing that Masoom was trying to go for a move around the outside, but you closed the door and he got a compromised exit. So that was also very cleverly played. So congratulations from you there.
Yeah, thanks.
Kaushik, you have any questions?
Not really. That's all I wanted to ask him as well. So yeah, once again, congratulations from my side as well for P1 in race one and P2 in race two.
Yeah. Moving on, we have our in P3 finish rounding off the podium. We have Deepak Raj. Congratulations, mate! There was a mega race from you guys. From you, both the first and the second race, you just kept your head, kept it cool, stayed away from the incidents. Just talk us through it. How was it? Like, what was going through your mind the entire race?
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm really happy that I was able to get an overall P3. So yeah, I mean, it still feels really good. And yeah, well, the race start was relatively clean. The first race start, I was literally caught off guard by because I haven't really started that front ahead. So I was literally caught off guard initially, but then I was able to keep it ahead and keep it going. And yeah, like you said, there are a lot of incidents behind which actually helped me stay ahead. So yeah, in race two also like the same thing happened, and I almost got the run on Masum, but then I decided not to attack him because I know very well that the
Oh
pressure
yeah,
between me and
yeah, we
Masum
saw
is
that. Yeah.
very immense, and I really don't want that added pressure on me. So I was like, I'll just stay back and just stuck behind, and
Yeah, you
yeah,
played it very smart through both the races, and there were instances where there were some fast drivers like Panda behind you, and they were closing up, but then they dropped back. So, talk us through what would you do to respond to that? Because you just kept a cool head and kept it consistent.
yeah, well, again, some luck played to my part because I actually had a spin in the mountains, and somehow I was able to keep it going, and yeah, I was able to minimize damage. And like you said, Panda was closing in, and even I was sweating it at a point of time because the gap was closing quite rapidly, and I also started to push. But then I learned that Panda had slightly miscalculated his fuel. Man literally just crossed with zero point zero fuel left in tank. So yeah, I would
Oof.
say a combination of luck played today.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations again, and look forward to seeing you in the next one. Kaushik, you have anything to add?
Not really. I'm surprised by Deepak as well. Want to know what he did in race one, uh, in terms of pace. Like, did he expect him to be going faster, or was that his actual pace? Was he conserving? What were you doing exactly, Deepak? There.
No, that was my actual pace. Like I wasn't really pushing too hard. In the first lap, I actually was trying to push a bit too hard. And like Tavali said, the tires are not out of pressure and had a few contact the wall that actually had a lasting damage. The lights were blown out. And whenever I brake, I would be completely in the dark. So I had to manage with all that. So that
Yep,
was my actual
definitely.
pace, though. Had some practice in the circuit, so I was able to manage.
Yeah, that's what we're thinking as well. Amazing race, anyway, because pace does not matter in these tracks and a lot of tracks, to be honest. Race pace, in terms of you need to combine it with racecraft as well to not make mistakes and not get any damage. That's what you exactly did this race, and you deserved that podium position exceptionally well. So congratulations to you.
Thanks, man.
Yep, great race. Finishing in P4, we have Panda. So, Panda, you've had a very eventful two races. You definitely get the award for overtake of the race with that move, that switchback on the uphill section. Talk us through what happened in the first and second race, because certainly there was a lot we missed.
Race one. So I am going to point it out. I had almost, in the words of the leash, I had almost zero practice. I did do 10 laps 3 days ago, but I hope that counts as zero practice, and I won't be cancelled like Jardier. Okay, so I messed up in quali. I did not. I was more than a second slower than I would have expected in the quali. So I was starting pretty far behind. Race start, it was pretty okay. I avoided all the mess ahead of me and just went through. Then a single tap, I guess, in the downhill left-hander on my right front really gave it really gave away the car, man. Like in the next few laps, I came to a realization that the car is very unstable, and I eventually spun and went into the wall. Had to retire. Race two, I guess race two was a lot of fun. Other than the miscalculation of fuel in the last two laps, I had to basically hold back the Panchu a lot in the uphill section, really to just get that P4. But I guess if that miscalculation was not there, I would have been pretty close to Deepak.
Yep. When Panda was suppressing, I was literally
Yeah.
praying for a miracle, and I guess that happened.
Overall, GG, good race, man. Very nice, Deepak.
Yeah, good reason. Yes,
Yeah.
man.
Some great racing, and you provided us a lot of action in the second one. So, yeah, Koushik got something to add.
Yeah, not much really. Again, he answered everything I wanted to ask as well. I want to thank him for giving us a very interesting race. He's definitely driver day for me as well, along with Deepak and Masoom, because yeah, they've been the ones who kept it more consistent. But unfortunately, Panda had some bad luck in race one, I think, but still gave us a lot of battles and just a lot of enjoyment for the stream as well. So congratulations on your P4. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And finishing just behind Panda in P5 was the Pancho, no pro player. So the Pancho, you also had a very eventful race. The first one was a bit, I think, on the low side, but the second one, you gained a lot of positions from that lap one incident. So, like, talk us through what all happened.
So in the first one, basically I was driving without my wheel clamped because my clamps just came off, and on this track I was just trying to survive. That happened after the second lap when I got punted off. So I already had 30 seconds damage. So after that, I was just concentrating on surviving. In the midfield, it's very rare that you will come out alive in on this track if you are starting in somewhere in the middle, and that's why we saw likes of Panda and other people just retire who started along that midfield, because there is just too much to going on the hill section, and unfortunately I was also caught up. And in the second race, yeah, basically, I was seeing Slaya being a bit too aggressive even on the start. He was cutting across people in the breaking into the turn one itself. So I was expecting something to go down, and
I
something
agree.
definitely did go down
Oh,
in
yeah,
the next
something
corner.
definitely did go down on stream.
Yeah. So in turn three, huge pile up, cars flying, and then couple was there slowing down. So I was trying to avoid that behind him, but then Starboy saw an opportunity and overtook me. And then I thought that it's fine. I will have a clean race. That's more than enough. And I knew that I have the pace. But then what did not help was Starboy spinning in the downhill section and then me just going and hitting him and getting a 30 seconds damage. So again, race 2 turned out to be a survival after that. So not making my car spin and just trying to finish it. But yeah, after that, it was pretty lonely till Panda came. And then after he overtook me, obviously he was on full fuel saving mode, and I was seeing that he was doing a lot of mistakes, trying to, push him or something to do a something severe mistake, but man did not budge. So that's where I finished.
Yep, it was a great race and some great action you provided us. Good job defending and attacking all the drivers ahead of you. You played it very well. Kaushik, got something to add?
Nothing again.
All right, okay. And then I guess that's it for tonight. We've had a great some great two races as well. We also have Kake and Valin Gandhi in the com box. You guys want to add anything? Anything you saw on the race? Anything you want to tell the viewers? Because it sure was like there was a lot of stuff we missed on stream as well.
Yeah, I was watched in quali, then got slayed into race one.
Oof.
And after that, I thought I'll just, after a 3 minute pit stop, I'll just come back, go one lap behind, but at least finish and get some points. But that didn't happen as well. So then race two, end of lap two, I had 30 seconds of damage. Then I had a fight with Aladdin for 4 5 laps. I guess he was behind me and just kept pressuring me. And then again, in the end, I had 45 plus seconds of damage and a short steering wheel, so which I had to keep left to go straight. And then Raja was behind me for the last 2 laps. So yeah, eventful race in that terms. But yeah, disappointing overall. That's that.
Hard luck, man. I'm pretty sure you're going to bounce back in the next one. Gandhi got something to add?
Yeah, man. I think Bathurst is always a big damage competition. Whoever has the most damage gets to flaunt the most, and it was like that in the first race. Raja kind of lagged into me. He went off track and then just came on track. I don't know how. So yeah, second race it was just damage avoidance, but I don't know. In the last corner, there was some kind of weird contact. I had some screen freeze. I don't know what happened, and I was going after Propi, and I would have caught him, but yeah, bad luck.
Yeah.
Or
I
yes,
saw that
well done,
you.
Bathurst.
Yeah, I
Well done,
saw that
Bathurst.
you messed up in the final corner, I believe.
Yeah, my screen froze or something. I
Ah.
don't know. It was a very weird contact as well. I don't know how I contacted the wall that has spun around towards
Yeah.
the right. That was a very weird contact. Yeah.
Yep, I guess that's all from tonight. And again, as mentioned before, Bathurst always provides, and it certainly did tonight. And I guess that's it, folks, for tonight. We've had a great race, and we will see you again same time next week for round 9 of ACC Season 4. And thank you for joining us tonight. This is IRC signing out.